Republican Congressman Louie Gohmert. He asked a very interesting question. Here's his question, and then I'm going to give my response. Here's what he asked.
How dare you? You think we don't have hearts? No, I don't actually.
All right. So, you just heard two voices there. The first guy, as I said, Republican Congressman Louie Gohmert. He said, how dare you? You think we don't have hearts? The guy who just said no is left-wing liberal podcaster Mike Figueredo, who runs a show called Humanist Report. It's on YouTube, and it's a great show. I may not agree with everything he says, but I think he's an excellent commentator. I think that he provides a great viewpoint. He's good at what he does, and I like listening to the guy. Shout out to him, Mike Figueredo. I like your work. Now, here's the thing. My response to Louie, I'm going to say exactly what Mike just told you. No. Matter of fact, let's go back. This time I'm going to say it instead of Mike.
How dare you? You think we don't have hearts?
Okay. Louie, to answer your question, that's exactly what I think. I think you don't have hearts. Okay, you and most other Republicans in this government, you do not have hearts. Now, a lot of you are wondering, okay, well, what's he talking about? What's this about? Well, that was in response to the shooting that took place in Uvalde, Texas. The shooting in Uvalde, Texas, where multiple children got killed. I'm pretty sure there was at least 19 children that got killed. There were 2 teachers that got killed. Both of them were in their 40s, I believe. Now, he was making the argument that Democrats and liberals are saying that him and Republicans don't have hearts because, oh, well, we care about this stuff too, and you think that we're not, you guys are not expressing sympathy and compassion about this openly like a lot of us are. And every time the Democrats propose legislation to enact, to get the gun violence under control or to enact gun safety, it seems like almost every Democrat votes for it, while nearly every Republican votes against it. I do not know a single Republican in this government, or, not just currently, but any Republican that was under Bush, Obama, Trump, Clinton, just any president you could name, where there was any Republican that was in Congress or Senate during any of those times or in the last 20 plus years, no Republican has voted in support of enacting gun safety. And also, a lot of Republicans are saying that we need to do something about the NRA, but these are a lot of the same people there's way more Republicans who get money from the NRA than any Democrats, okay? I can probably think of 2, maybe 3 Democrats that get money from the NRA. Those quotations meant something, and to people who watch this show and to people who really are involved in politics like me and are Democrats, you know exactly who I'm referring to. Now, Louie Gohmert took $13,000 from the NRA. You have John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, who took $135,000. Kenny Marchant, $15,000. John Carter, $27,000. Ted Poe, $14,000. Lamar Smith, $41,000. Bill Flores, $12,000. Pete Sessions, $158,000. And do I think that that's the only reason why he doesn't have a heart, or that a lot of these people don't have hearts? Well, let's look at this right here. Louie Gohmert, in regards to school shootings, in December of 2012, December 16th, 2 days after the Sandy Hook shootings, Louie Gohmert appeared on Fox News Sunday and suggested that the tragedy would have never happened had the teachers been armed. He told Chris Wallace, quote unquote, I wish to God that she, the principal, had an M4 in her office locked up, so when she heard gunfire, she pulls it out and takes him out and takes his head off before he can kill those precious kids. All right. Louie, I highly doubt you're watching this, but if you are, Louie. You said the tragedy would have never happened had the teachers been armed. You know what that almost sounds like? It's almost as if you are saying you're blaming the teachers for the kids getting shot and killed. That's almost it. That's what it sounds like you are saying. That's almost that. I'll tell you this right now. Maybe this is just my opinion. I might be crazy. But what I believe should happen outside of politics, just aside Democrats, Republicans aside, this is what I believe. I believe that children should be able to just go to school and not have to worry about, are they going to get shot? I know, right? It's a radical idea, isn't it? That makes me the craziest person on earth to think that, right? Because I can tell you right now, and I feel sorry for, like I said, all the schools that got shut up, and not just schools, other public places that got shut up, grocery stores, casinos, movie theaters, hotels, churches, whatever other public place you want to name, bars, restaurants, whatever. Because I'll tell you, when I was in school, elementary, middle, high, that's not something that ever crossed my mind, and I don't think it crossed any of the teachers' minds either, because you had shootings before, but now it's like school shootings are just like it's almost an everyday thing. It's like, dang, it's like what? And you have him along with many other Republicans that are arguing for teachers being armed. You have a lot of teachers that are saying, no, we don't need to be armed. This damn thing shouldn't even be taking place. It's just... Here. After the 2022 Uvalde school massacre, Louie Gohmert said, quote unquote, maybe if we heard more prayers from leaders of this country instead of taking God's name in vain, we wouldn't have the mass killings like we didn't have before prayer was eliminated from schools. Okay. Louie. Let me tell you something. I understand that there's this dumb stereotype that if you're a Christian, you must be a conservative, and if you're a liberal, you must be atheist. I'll tell you something. I've always been a liberal. I've always been Christian. I am a Christian. I'll always will be a Christian, and there's nothing anybody can say to change that. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. Let me put it to you like this. Louie, if you really are the Christian that you say you are, there is something that the Bible states. And this is in the Bible. I didn't write it. Faith without work is dead. Now, he's saying that they eliminated prayer from schools. I haven't seen anything about that. I don't know that to be true. I'll say this. I know that a lot of left-wingers, especially a lot of the left-wing atheists and people who consider themselves agnostic or they don't know what to believe, I know they sit there and they say to conservatives, like, hey, we're tired of hearing the thoughts and prayers. That's not enough. It's like, let's stop doing that. No. Here's my argument. You can still do the thoughts and prayers. Like, as a Christian, I'm for that. Yes, prayers to the families and friends of those people that got shot and people that lost their lives. But there has to be more action taken. And it sounds like he's saying that if they hadn't taken prayer out of schools, we just continued to pray, this stuff wouldn't happen. Really? Do you think that's going to stop? So let me ask you this. Let's say hypothetically, let's say I decide to go shoot up a school, or just any public place for that matter. Do you really think that if I learn that they're in there just saying, oh, we're just going to continue our prayers, you think that's going to stop me from shooting the school? You think that's going to stop the shooter and say, oh, they got prayer going on in there, so I can't shoot this place up? That's not going to stop them, okay? That's not going to happen. So that right there is a moot point. That's a totally invalid argument. I don't know where he got that from. I don't know if that was his mind actually thinking that and he thought that that was a legit point, or if he just said that because some top Republican figure told him to say that. I'm not entirely sure where that came from. And please do not misconstrue that as an anti-Christian argument. It really isn't. Please do not misconstrue that, okay? I can't have anybody interfering with my salvation. That ain't gonna happen. Ain't nobody about to get me in trouble. I try not to talk too much about religion on my show anyway, because let's just stay on the safe side here. By the way, there's other reasons why I think Louie Gohmert does not have a heart. Under his political positions, and I'm looking here on Wikipedia, under hate crimes, on February 26th of 2020, Gohmert voted against making lynching a federal hate crime. Why, Louie? Why? Why? I understand that this bothers you and a lot of your people, but he said the 10-year sentence for lynching in the act was quote-unquote ridiculous, and that crimes such as lynching should be prosecuted through state murder statutes, which is punishable up to death in Texas. Gohmert opposes federal hate crime legislation, saying that some hate crime legislation is unnecessary because assault and murder are already crimes. So that means vote against it? So if it's already a crime, if assault and murder are already crimes, and then you have lynching, which is a crime, then, so you're saying that, so I don't need to vote against this. I'm sorry, no, I don't need to vote for this because we already have these other two things that are already crimes and people already get punished for that. Louie, again, not a good point. It is not a good point. So, Lord, I'm trying to see, okay, he voted for the Iraq War, no surprise there. Or actually, you know what? He was one of the 49 to vote against the repeal of the AUMF defense that would require, okay? Made a mistake. They're not voted for, but he supported it. He didn't actually vote for it. He supported it. So I misspoke on that one. Okay, that's my mistake there. But that answers, that's my answer to Louie's question. Now, here's what Mike Figueredo had to say.
No, I don't actually. That was Representative Louie Gohmert at a House Judiciary Committee hearing on gun reform. And I'm going to play more of his unhinged rant for you in a moment, but I want to show you what set him off. Specifically, it was these comments from Representative Eric Swalwell.
So who are you here for? Our kids or the killers? I'm here for people like Alex Navarro. She's a Moms Demand Action leader in the San Francisco Bay Area. And last week, after I convened a meeting among my constituents and people like Fred Guttenberg and Dr. Joe Saccharin, an emergency room physician at Johns Hopkins, Alex Navarro told my constituents that her 6-year-old daughter, after Uvalde, after seeing the images behind me, said to her, "Mom, what picture are you going to use for me? What picture are you going to use for me?" That's what children are asking their parents across America, because they don't believe they're going to come out alive. What picture are you going to use for me? We're supposed to be the protectors. We're supposed to be here for the kids. And so to my colleagues today who
Well, you know what? Unfortunately, people like Louie Gohmert and most Republicans aren't there for the kids. They might argue that they're there for their kids, but they're not there for the kids, which is kids across America. I guarantee if it was one of their kids, they would pass this legislation in less than 24 seconds. I'm sure of that. And Louie Gohmert, he's totally unaffected by this. It's just that shows you that he has no sympathy. He has no heart, which answers his question that he asked in the beginning of the video.
Flew in town, came to work, got ready to argue. My question is, why did you come here at all? Why did you come here at all?
He went there for the attention. That's why.
If you're not here for the children, why don't you go to the funeral of the killer? Because that's the only place where the killer is being celebrated. We're here to get things done and protect our kids. What's your job? I yield back.
And he is exactly right. Democrats have got to remind Republicans at every chance that they get that they cultivated this environment of fear, where we have to fear if children will be slaughtered at schools, where we have to fear if a gunman is going to walk into a movie theater or a grocery store and kill us. They've done this. They refuse.
Well, I'm not going to play the rest of that because it's too long. I'm not going to take over. But I think you guys get the point. So, and by the way, Louie Gohmert declined to run for re-election in the Congress, to run for Attorney General of that state in Texas. And he did not make the runoff, so therefore he lost the primary, and effectively in doing so, he lost his seat in Congress. So this November, he will no longer be there, which I say serves him right. So we don't have to deal with him anymore. There's plenty others that we have to deal with still, but he's no longer one of them. So, 99 problems, Louie ain't one.